Okay, I'm live. How's everyone doing today? Hope everyone's doing well. Just going to, I've sent out the email to Leighton Gray. He's the gentleman who's going to be joining me today for the live stream. Really looking forward to this conversation, actually. As you can see, based on the title, it's going to be dealing with belief systems and God. And by the way, Leighton Gray has his own podcast. I shared it around to most of my social media platforms, but for those of you who maybe haven't seen it as of yet, it's called Gray Matter Podcast. Actually, I'll just bring up his X profile, bring that on so you folks can see. And of course, if you click on his link tree right here, that's actually linked in his X profile, you'll also get a copy of the links to all of his other social media platforms. And I will just mention in the description portion of this live stream, I have that link tree link posted in there as well. So you'll be able to get access to all of his social media platforms. And as you can see, he even does some spaces. Actually, I've been invited a couple times. Unfortunately, it's typically in the evenings, and those are typically the times I spend with my wife. And so I've kind of missed out on a couple of them that I'm hoping that mostly at some point in time, I'll get a chance, though, to dive into one. There is the odd time at night where I will get the opportunity later in the evenings, and I'm going to try to hold out and hopefully be able to join him on one of the spaces. That's actually, I haven't done a space as of yet on the X profile, but a lot of other people are using it and it seems to be working out fairly well. So I'm going to try that as well. Anyways, like I say, so the man's name is Leighton Gray, and he's the host of the Gray Matter podcast. And once again, as soon as I get a response from him, I did send him the link both here. Actually, let me go back on here. I'll just bring this off for now. Let me just check the email. I might actually have to send it. It's the thing. I use Proton. It's a secure email service. I'm not sure how well it works with other email services, though. And to be honest with you, I'm not even quite sure what the email service that Mr. Gray uses. I'm not familiar with where I had to send the link, but perhaps I'll just send it again. Yeah, let me just try sending it again here. Okay. Let's try this one more time then. So let me just try this one more time here, folks. New message to, okay. And it's going to be regarding the link. And let me just get that link again. Present, or no, not present. Invite. Here we go. Here we go. So I'm going to send it again here. Send. All right. Actually, let me get the email address again. See if I can't do it right through my StreamYard. So email. Default app. Google Chrome. Let me try this. Let's try this. Let me try this. See if this will work. Add an account. Oh, here we go. Okay, here we go. All right, let's try this one. Okay, all done. Your account was set to done. Okay, what's going on here? Not now. All right. So new mail. All right. We're going to try sending this again here through a different email account to subject link to live stream. All right. Now let's try that one more time. Shall we? Shall we? Okay, where's the email? Where's the email opened up here? There we go. So sent from there. Now let's send this bad boy off. And hopefully all goes well. Hopefully all goes well. Because yeah, I typically am not familiar with sending. Yeah, it seems like it should have gone out. But yeah, I'm not typically familiar with sending things in such a manner. I'm not familiar, like I say, with that particular one. Let me just go to my inbox. Oh, actually, I should check spam now that I think about it. Nope, nothing in the old spam folder. That's a good thing. All right, let me just close that up, and like I say, just give it a couple more minutes here. Actually, let me just. I sent the link through a couple different email providers. I am live now. Worst case scenario, if he doesn't get the links, then perhaps we'll just get a chance to reschedule our conversation. Because it's, yeah, for some reason, I don't know what quite to take or to make of this. I'm just not getting any response. But we'll just give it a few more minutes, anyways, like I say, just to see, give the gentleman some time, right? And in the meantime, I will just let you folks out. No, actually, now in the meantime, while we are waiting, I might as well bring up. I'm going to be having a live stream conversation with what's it called here? I'm just going to bring it up again. This will be on April the 11th at, I believe it's 1 p.m. Central Time, which I believe should be 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Yeah, 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Let me just bring this up once more, though, here, folks. Once more, just to make sure I'm getting that all the information correct. Yeah, so everyone, I've been invited to be a guest on the show. It's called Toward Anarchy. And yeah, it's April 11th at 1 p.m. Central Time. So, like I say, that'll be 2 p.m. Eastern Time. And it should be 3 p.m. Atlantic Time. Of course, I'll be sharing all the links to all my social media pages once it's available. And then, of course, I put in the meantime, if you go onto my Canadian Libertarian Facebook page, you'll see that I've actually linked their Facebook page called Towards Anarchy. And I'm really looking forward to being on their show. As far as I know, from what I've heard, I think it's just going to be recorded, a recorded conversation. So it's not going to be live streamed. As far as I know, I will have to just double check on that. And once again, I'll update the information once I become fully aware of whether it's live stream or it's just pre-recorded. If it is pre-recorded, the gentleman who I'm speaking with agreed that I'll be able to upload it and share it on my own social media platforms. So even if you don't get a chance to see it on Towards Anarchy, although I definitely recommend you check out their Facebook page and all their other social media channels and pages as well. But even if you don't get a chance to see that, once again, I'll hopefully have that uploaded on my own Canadian Libertarian, whether it's the Facebook page or on the YouTube channel, on the Rumble channel, on Odyssey, and and probably up on X as well. So once again, I'm looking forward to that. But in the meantime, like I say, I'll just give it a few more minutes to see if Leighton gets the notification, gets the email, and if not, well, we'll once again we'll just save this for another time, and I'll just go about doing something else for the day. There's always that's the one thing. There's never a shortage of things to do. To be honest with you, matter of fact, a lot of times I and it sounds a little counterintuitive at times, but sometimes I wish there was more than actually 24 hours in a day, because some of those days just don't seem to last as long as you would hope or you would like. But yeah, okay, let me close that one up. I do see there's a bunch of people have joined this. Actually, let me just check, and I might as well check on everything on all the other social media platforms just to make sure it's all going well. Okay, looks like X is up and going. Like, so yeah, let me just actually looks like I got probably about 10 viewers already over on the X, which is great. And I just wish we had the guest here so that we could get started. But anyways, thanks for your patience, everyone. I really appreciate it. Like I say, we're just going to give it another 5 or 10 minutes, see how things go. I might as well check while we're at it. Might as well check everything out over on the Rumble. One thing I will say, hey, that's actually what a coincidence. And as you folks know, 10 is actually my favorite number, but what a coincidence. I'm actually seeing there are 10 people currently watching over on Rumble as well. So, wow, that's pretty wild. 10 here, 10 there. And what do we got over on the YouTube? Looks like we got at least another 15 or, oh, maybe 17. So we're getting up there. We got a few dozen people that are anxiously waiting to see the live stream. And hopefully we do get a chance to get this going. Yeah, everything's looking good on the Rumble. So I guess once again, just in the interim, folks, I really thank you for your patience. I might as well do that one more check and make sure everything's good over on the Odyssey. If you're having trouble starting the stream. Nope. Oh, everything seems good. It was just mentioned that over on Odyssey if I was having troubles, but apparently I'm not. Matter of fact, seems like everything is going really, really good, which is just it's so typical, right? Everything is working, everything's functioning. There's no glitching, there's no you know technical difficulties. All the ducks are in order. I've dotted all the I's and crossed all the T's. The only thing that we're missing is the guest, unfortunately. But let me just see. I see there's a few people that have at least. Oh, I see there's even a couple people over on the old Facebook watching. So, darn it! I really hope I do get a chance to have this conversation today, because I really appreciate you folks taking the time out of your day to come check it out. I'll say hi to a couple of you in the chats. Hello, all in Bennett, listening while at work. Well, right on, Ian Myers. Thank you, sir, for joining the live stream. And like I say, hopefully I get a chance to actually have this live stream. Once again, I've never sent anything to an email address that's anything like the one that I've sent it to. So I don't know if that's the problem. Although I did once again, I did try at least a couple different emails. One, which is an encrypted Proton, which is an encrypted, very secure email service. But I've also used just a regular email service too, because there might be an issue with using an encrypted service. If the other person on the other side doesn't, there might be some issue there. Once again, I can't say with any amount of certainty when it comes to that. I'm not a professional in that. Rejoicing Reba. Hello, Bennett. We follow each other on Twix, but I prefer to watch podcasts on other platforms. Oh, thank you very much, Rejoicing Reba. Twix? You must mean Twitter, or I get it, Twix. I get it. Right. Oh, Reba. Yes. Actually, yes. I know exactly who you are now, Reba. Yes. The one with the pink flowers, I believe, around your username. Well, thank you very much for joining the stream. Really appreciate that, Reba. And I really appreciate all the sharing and commenting and retweeting or reposting, re-Xing, I guess you want to call it, right? All the material that I provide. And I'm thankful for some of the information and material you provide, and I share that as you're familiar with as well. So once again, it's always nice to meet other people out there on these social media platforms. And for me in particular, I it's a little extra, I guess, a net benefit when it's other liberty lovers that are of the female persuasion. I do have a substantial amount of them, but as you see in typically these kinds of spaces, it's very much inundated with a lot of a lot of men, right? Which I guess in a way kind of makes sense based on the big five personality traits. But I'm really happy to see that, because yeah, I mean, liberty, freedom, these things affect both of us, right? And I'm really happy to see that there are both men and women these days that are standing up and speaking open, and showing a lot of courage for their convictions for doing so, right? Because we all know, there's a whether you want to call it a coordinated effort or just a lot of people with the particular interests, that it's beneficial. Let's just say it's very beneficial to keep voices like ours greatly suppressed or subdued, right? And we definitely see and recognize that there are a lot of very people in a lot of powerful positions who are actively every day, many of them getting paid, good for them, I guess. But that's literally their job every day, is to try to suppress content like ours. But as you folks know, well, we punch way above our weight, and we're diehards, right? We're very resilient and very persistent. That's another thing. And I'm always very happy and pleased to see other very well-meaning, very articulate, thoughtful, and once again persistent people out there, because there's a behemoth that we're up against, but because we have the right ideas and we have ethics and morality backing us up, and the philosophy of liberty, like I say, we've got all that's needed or necessary, right? To not just tell stories, but to give people an actual foundational basis of knowledge that will help guide them through not just their social and economic lives, but their personal lives as well. Because as you folks know, it's been quite a journey for me. And the more I learn about these philosophical concepts and what it is to be free, what is even a belief system, right? Because that's one of the things I was really looking forward to talking to Leighton about today, is the current belief systems, right? Because as you're recognizing today, the further and further that societies, Western societies in particular, drift further away from the concept of God or from Christianity or some of those Judeo-Christian values, well, who's filling up that vacuum? What's the ideology? What's the belief system? What's the underlying structure that's filling that void, filling that space? Well, what we're seeing today are a lot of people that claim to be progressives, and they themselves would even describe themselves as atheists, right? But yet, are they truly, genuinely atheists? Non-believers? Well, I would say they might not believe into God in terms of Christianity, right? But I would definitely suggest, with absolute, genuine knowledge, and it's been proven to me a multitude of times over just in recent years, is nope, they're very religious, they're very dogmatic, they're very much ideologically driven. The problem is their ideology of choice is statism. It's their belief in government, their belief in that as their ultimate authority. And once again, because we know what government is at the end of the day, right? And you just have to, once again, just take these concepts, right? And run them through what it even means. And you come to realize that you definitely are in a much more precarious situation. And we're seeing that in the real world, right? Not just online, but in the real world. You're living in a very precarious situation when, you have people who claim to be atheists or more scientific basis in their knowledge. That's what they would suggest to you. But yet they don't even recognize their own dogma that's planted firmly and deeply into their brain, into their psyche. That's a dangerous person, much more dangerous so than even some of the religious dogmatists in some of the other alternative religions around the world. Sure, some of these, religious zealots can be quite dangerous, especially and in particular when they form large groups. But nothing, and in the 20th century, and even now early on in the 21st century, is the real world proof that you need, and just how dangerous and how deadly and detrimental to all of our inherent and inalienable rights and freedoms that the belief in statism truly is. And it is really, really difficult because people have been inundated with that faith-based system since they were very, very young kids, and once again horizontally enforced even as an adult. See, that's the one thing about the people who were raised by religious dogmatists, let's say Christians, right, when they were younger, regardless if they were Catholic or Protestant or Presbyterian or Baptist or Bethlehem or Wesleyan or all the different denominations, right? But at least once they become adults, most people kind of pivot away from that being so dogmatic in their faith in that religion because they recognize that it doesn't properly line up with something that they would deem as being logical. The problem today with today's statists, right? The atheist statists, the ones that claim to be progressive and atheist, is they don't even have anyone around them to help break them free from their dogma because they literally surround themselves day in and night, day in and day out with other fellow like-minded ideologues. And that's an area where, like I say, how do you break free from that stuff when there's nobody in your immediate vicinity or area that's even willing to challenge your orthodoxy, right? Or question it in any way? That's a very difficult thing to even to contemplate or to consider, but it is the kind of thing that, once again, I was really kind of hoping to talk about today with Leighton Gray. Anyways, but like I say, I'll just leave it for a little bit longer. But once again, if I don't, I'm just going to check the email here one more time. And if I don't get a chance, well, I'll just tie this live stream up in fairly quick or short order. Unless you folks have any questions, once again, I'm always happy to take anyone's questions and answer them to the best of my knowledge or to the best of my abilities. But if not, like I say, if everyone else kind of, doesn't have a whole lot they want to ask in terms of questions or anything like that, like I say, I won't keep this live stream going on too long. And perhaps I'll just move on and wait and have that conversation at another point in time in the future. And I'm sure Mr. Leighton will be gracious enough to do so. Anyways, I just want to check a couple more of the comments. Liquid Gal, there we go. Another gal in the chat. Right on. Thank you very much, Liquid Gal. Afternoon, Bennett. Afternoon to you, and thank you very much for joining the stream as well. Yeah, TW. Yeah, I get it. I get it, Rejoice, Rebecca. Yeah, I know sometimes I can be a little slow to catch on some of those things, but yeah, thank you very much. Thank you. Actually, let me just check and see profile. Actually, let me put this here. I'm just going to put this in with my live streams anyways, the one that I'm currently on. I usually keep them notified here. So let me just go to my notifications. See if I can't find a notification. Yes, there we go. Yes. Yes, Queen Reba 63. Yes, exactly. Yes. No, you're the one that I was thinking about exactly. Yes, and like I say, I really appreciate that all the shares and reposts and all the kind words that you have to say. And I'd like to say I genuinely appreciate what you provide on the platform as well. So thanks again, Reba. I really do appreciate that. Hey, I see the Mad Catter's in the house. What's going on, Mad Catter? Nice to see you in the house. Boy, that's a scary looking picture there, Mad Catter. That's pretty wild. Yeah, that's impressive. But yes, Reba, yes. Thank you very much once again. But anyways, like I say, I know I got quite a few people here that have joined the stream. And once again, I'm very thankful that you folks have joined the stream. Really appreciate that. It's very humbling to know that I do have such amazing, dedicated people like yourself who show up to watch these live streams on I say a fairly regular and consistent basis, although I haven't gone too crazy with them. I try to try not to overwhelm you folks with too much of me, right? Because yeah, there is such a thing as you can definitely get too much of a good thing when it comes to me, anyways. But yeah, well, like I say, especially with a lot of the stuff that's taking place today, I like to cover the big stories, the breaking stories, and bring that philosophical lens to the table, deal with things from the ethical standpoint. That to me is a really key factor, because I see this. There's so many people, whether they're social media influencers or pundits or even those in the establishment, there's a lot of rhetoric that gets bantered around, a tremendous amount of rhetoric, a lot of us versus them, right? A lot of politics, but very, very, very few examples of people who take things from that first principles lens, from that line of that first principles line of reasoning, from using logic and ethics as the basis for how they analyze, you know, not just the stories of the day, but some of these concepts, like in terms of government or corporations, and should government do this, or should, once again, without that baseline knowledge, well, first of all, when we're talking about government, well, what is government, right? I mean, if you don't have a firm grasp of what government is, right, then how are you going to answer that question appropriately or even slightly informed? You're not. You're going to be just like most people, where you're just repeating things that you've heard other people say. But that's not your brain working. Well, not really, not the way it should be, or not the way as intended. No, it's just repeating and regurgitating, which, once again, that's an easy thing to do. I mean, even animals in the state of nature can show a lot of repetition and can be very proficient at repetition, right? But that's not the same as thinking or even being critical, or once again, using the philosophical or ethical lens when you're thinking about these things. There's a big, big, huge discrepancy and difference there. And that's where the area where, like I say, people like me try to step in. And I do recognize that it's not the most popular thing on the planet. I wish, to be honest with you, maybe this is something that I wish I could do this. I wish I was the kind of person that I was an entertainer first and foremost, right? And that I could bring that entertainment factor, because I think those are the people who are most successful these days. Is people come from, like, arts and entertainment type of background, and can use their proficiency in those particular arts or being an entertainer, and bring great ideas and concepts to the forefront of people's minds. I think that's one area where actually stand-up comedians are probably some of the best out there. Some of the best, not just in the business, but out there in the world, actually bringing some of these very, very important concepts and principles and ethics to the table or to the forefront, and teaching people how to properly think about things, while, once again, being entertained and informed along the way. That, to me, that's a beautiful thing. And that's something, once again, I wish that's an area where I could use some help. That's one area where, once again, that's like one of those areas where it seems to be a big blind spot for me, right? I'm really good at just getting things done, right? Same with, like, building engines. Give me an engine, as long as I understand all the parts, and I'll figure that stuff out. And not just putting parts together, but even figuring out what parts will work best together to give you the best performance outcome at the right price and all that stuff. Those kind of things I'm very proficient at, really good at. But once again, the whole entertainment factor, right? That whole kind of, and that's a different kind of a personality trait. And once again, it seems to be one that I slightly lack quite a bit lack in comparison to quite a few other people. But that's where, once again, that's where you need people of not just similar ideas, but from different backgrounds and different venues and different strong points to kind of come together to help hammer this stuff out and bring it to fruition in a much more seamless package, right? Because, like I say, that's really how it has to take place. And there are some people that are out that are stepping up the plate, but predominantly the ones that are stepping up the plate and trying to tell the grand stories, the grand narratives, and do have resources at the disposal, are the ones that are just wanting to, they're really pissed off about the current ruling establishment, but they just want to become the next ruling establishment. They're not going to really give you the true kind of honest information that you genuinely need to even understand what it means to be a free human being. Once again, we need some peeps that are like that have that kind of mindset, but also with those kind of skill sets. And once again, they are a very rare breed. I definitely recognize and acknowledge that. Oh, thank you very much, Rejoice and Reba. Really appreciate that. Like seagulls. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, like it's already been a half hour, folks, and I won't keep you folks any longer than absolutely is needed or necessary. So I'll just probably tie this live stream up, and hopefully I hear back from Leighton again at some point in time, a little bit later on, and perhaps we'll, like I say, we'll get a chance to reschedule this, and we'll make this happen. Well, if it's up to me, I will definitely make this happen, folks. And once again, I'm not blaming Leighton for anything. I'm sure something must have happened. This kind of thing does happen from time to time. But once again, we'll get a chance to have this conversation. And I just will point out one more time on April 11th with Toward Anarchy. Once again, all that information will be up on my social media page as well. So like I say, April 11th at 1 p.m. Central Time. So that's going to be 2 p.m. Eastern Time and 3 p.m. Atlantic Time. Going to be having a conversation with him, and I'm going on his show, so it'll be more along the lines of him asking me a bunch of questions. So I'll be the questionee in this particular interview. And once again, I'm looking forward to that. Anyways, you folks have yourself a great day. I'm going to tie this live stream up, and I'll see you in the next one. It's Canadian Libertarian, and I